Welcome back to the Joyous Kingdom. I'm Cade. Frank from DeGods, the founder, the super hype project for y00TS. He recently went on the NGMI podcast with Champion K Money, so I figured I would watch the podcast and give my reactions. y00TS under DeGods is most likely the most hyped project of the entire year. Before we get into it, smash a like in this video, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. I appreciate everyone supporting me, and I try and upload videos as much as I fucking can. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. If you're not on my Discord down below in the description, you are only hurting yourself. As you know, the goal of this channel is to instill the knowledge and confidence it's going to take to navigate this metaverse on your own one day. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into the video.
When we launched back in like September of last year, at the time on Solana, it was basically just all animal JPEG. We just didn't identify with any fucking animal. So we were just like, man, well, we want to do something that's not an animal. We also want to be like fucking alphas. We want to like make it some dope shit that people would be proud to represent. So we landed on gods, and we were like, yo, fuck it. Like, why be like a fucking cat or like, you know, a lion or whatever? Let's just be a fucking god. And so that's kind of where the name DeGods came from. I wanted the DeGod to look a little bit smug, like a little bit like he's fucking better than you. And that to inform kind of like how we carry ourselves as a community, and never in like a toxic way, but it's really about confidence.
So I like this. This is something that a lot of projects don't even think about, is like the backbone of the community, the identity of the community, the brand. Like, what is it that we are? Like, that's why the Lazy Lions pride is so fucking strong, because they're like, we're lions, we're royal, we're kings, like whatever. So that's super powerful to the community. And the fact that they launched back in October of last year, didn't really do a whole lot, and then they randomly bumped up. That's when that brand identity is gonna be huge, because when the FOMO meets the identity, that's a recipe for mooning.
So to be totally honest, we rushed the fuck out of the original DeGods art. We did the whole collection in like 2.5 weeks and basically like just killed ourselves doing it. And then we launched it. And over time, I just realized, man, like we had so many fucking ugly DeGods. There were the cool ones that definitely looked sick, but there was a lot of like ugly DeGods. And that was just holding us back, you know, in terms of like growing in floor price, just growing as a community. Because the issue is like, yeah, people, like when the floor is just thick as fuck with all the ugliest DeGods, it's a horrible first impression because everyone's default filter is like lowest price. And you just see all these ugly DeGods, you're like, yo, fuck this collection. And so we were trying to like solve this problem of how do we make this art better, because our main artist that did the original DeGods, literally like two weeks after we launched it, Delilah is the name, he was just like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I could have done so much better on this. Like, why do we throw this glow? Why do we have this dumbass fruit roll up in the mouth? Like, why do we do all this dumb shit? And so we were like, man, like, let's just redo the whole fucking collection, and let's just take our fucking time and make this what we believe is the best art on any fucking, best 2D illustration art on any blockchain regardless. And that started a 3-month journey of what is now called DeGods.
And something like this with the art, realizing it's not as good as you'd want and that it does matter. Like, for example, a hate beast. There was multiple times I almost bought a hate beast, but I looked at the floor and I was just like, yo, these are all so fucking ugly. Like the ones that I saw in the trailer, the ones that went viral, that I'm sure you guys remember with the white and the albino looking ones, those were so sick. And then when we got the reveal, it was kind of like, what the fuck is this?
We also needed some help, so we brought in 2 people that we really liked from the one-of-one scene. Both of them, you know, the subtle flex is like they had like, you know, under like 100, 200 followers when we found them. We just really liked what the one-on-one art they were creating. And we're like, yo, can we fly you out to LA to just live with us for the next like 2 months and like work with us on this fucking DeGods like mission? And took a little bit of convincing, but they were fucking down. They came down here, and yeah, like the goal was just to have no floors. We wanted all the, you know, every single trait we had on there to have like an intricate level of detail, a backstory, some thought behind it.
This is a great note for artists. If you don't have a lot of followers, insert yourself into lots of communities, express yourself that you're like, hey, I'm an artist, by the way, like here's some of my work, whatever, like just making conversation, talking to people, vibing. That way when an opportunity like this comes about and they say, yo, we got some money, we want you to do something for us, that's when you guys pop in. These red Joyous Kingdom hats, they'll be for sale soon. Same with this shirt and the Joyous Kingdom logo shirt. That'll also be live. That'll be coming in the next few weeks, so keep your eye out for that. That'll be on my Twitter. You guys have been hounding me to start selling Joyous Kingdom clothes because I wear them all the time, and I think it's about that time.
When you're building game mechanics, you got to figure out what variables you want people to focus on. And so I know there's people that are trying to, you know, hold on to their OG DeGod for future value, but we are going to launch a software tool that lets you switch it back to the original PFP at a certain point. It's just not a high priority. And so to me, I don't think there's going to be a lot of value. And I've said this like, you know, 100 times, but people still do it. So, you know, hey, maybe they're right.
Can't control the...
So one solution for this, just to give the people who remain DeGods instead of converting to a DeGod, to offer a little bit of like utility without making it like a big thing, is to maybe just offer on the merch day, people who are still DeGods, just one extra shirt that has like something with DeGods instead of the DeGods. Just make that available to them. Just make them feel special, because that's really what they're going for. They want to be like different and stuff. As long as DeGods, DeGods remains as big as they are, there will always be a hint of collectability to have one of those original ones.
Let's tax people that list under the floor, 33.3%. Take that. We don't control it. It goes to an automated contract that will basically burn any NFT, that the lowest price NFT on the marketplace. And so you tax 33.3% for any undercutters. When it gets bought by somebody, they get taxed 33.3%, and it goes into this burn wallet. And then the burn wallet will basically sweep the floor and burn those NFTs out of existence. And that's how we started out. And that's where the 33.3% came out. But the problem with this is like it really just didn't work. And we ended up burning like 500.
It never works.
Yeah, it never.
Brother, it never works.
No, it's just fucking retarded in retrospect, right? Of course. But at the time, we were like fucking hype. And say what we will about Paper Hand Bitch Tags and how badly it did not work. What it did do is attract a community of people that are interested in fucking experiments. And that is the only reason we're successful today, is because in those initial days, we attracted a very interesting group of people, and a lot of people's like first mint, a lot of people's most high conviction play, because it was such an interesting concept to them, and the fact that we were experimenting.
So this is so interesting, that tax idea that he had, because this is actually a common tactic that a lot of companies use. Like Planet Fitness, for example, if you want to cancel your membership, you have to come in, you have to have all this paperwork, you got to sign. It's like a whole big fucking thing to cancel your membership, to make it harder to do, so they just retain you, right? But the difference here is with a community like DeGods, it becomes almost like a flex to be in it, because you're like, fuck everyone who leaves, right? Like there's some projects like I said, like Lazy Lion. It's like, I think Wolf Boy Social is a bit underrated of an NFT project. Their floor is super cheap, but their community is really, really strong. So I like the way this guy thinks. He definitely thinks IP, brand, and vibe overall as something as top priority, and that's really important.
DeGod is access to a membership club of people that are really excited about building interesting things and being a part of a movement that's all around experimentation, in crypto and Web3. And so I actually think it's one of the best intros into entering the crypto Web3 space if you actually want to learn more about the entire ecosystem. Because there's projects that are all about brand, but they're trying to go more Web2. And there's projects like that want to like bridge the gap and make their project all about like things that are non-crypto. For us, we're way more excited about making things really, really simple that are exciting.
I really like this. This is how I think about PFP project as well. You're buying into the membership, just like a punk. Like I said, like months ago, you buy a punk to be a punk. And then everything that comes of it, other than just growth of the IP, it should just be a cherry on top.
People are very quick to shit on like centralized platforms, but in reality, like none of Web3 exists without centralized platforms like Twitter, fucking Discord. Like these are companies that are building shit, and that's all the distribution comes from in Web3. And more importantly, people are very quick to forget how democratizing platforms like YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook ads, like whatever you want to like shit on now about privacy and all these things. First of all, human beings like picked, and chose every single time to just accept the terms of service. Like that is the fault of the companies, but it's also the fault of the fucking users and the consumers that will basically give all this shit up for free access to something. Point being, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all these content creation platforms, Twitch, these things democratize the way that people can make money creating content. Before that, you had to go fucking get signed by an agent, and then you had to go grind your way up being an extra or whatever, and then maybe get a role in some movie to be in like mainstream content. Now people can make content from their phones and become some of the most famous people in the world. That is a deeply democratic and insanely liberating like process that happened, and now everyone wants to shit on it. In my mind, I just think that the future of Web3 is not going to look like recreating fucking Twitter or TikTok. It's going to be about creating a new experience on the internet that is only possible when you token gate, that is only possible when you do interesting things with, NFTs, crypto, whatever it is. I personally don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I'm just bearish on people that are fudding hardcore all this Web2 shit, when even to this day, it's democratized and changed millions of people's lives and ability to make money on the internet.
Everything right now is still built on centralization. 90% of people trading crypto are guaranteed using Coinbase, right, or Voyager or something like that, a centralized platform. It's not really there. It's not your keys, it's not your crypto, right? If it's not like on your ledger, then you don't really own that money. They could lock it up, because with true decentralization comes true accountability, which people don't want to do. They want to point the finger at someone else or say, hey, get this back for me. I fucked this up. Someone fix this. If you fuck it up on a full decentralized like wallet or something, you send money to the wrong wallet, it's over. It's gone. You can't go back. There's no way to recover that money, right? But if you do it on a centralized exchange, sometimes there's someone you can yell at, a manager, and get your money back or whatever.
You never want to source solutions from your customers or your community or whatever it is. You want to just get the problems. And so for me, it's like people have no problem talking about problems. And so that's where the value comes in. I like to look at it as like, it's like once in a blue moon, you're going to get the perfect fucking idea from the community and someone from the community. And you're going to be so grateful because you're like, man, I would have never thought of that if somebody didn't just fucking write this in the Discord or tweet this out. And you're like, let's fucking go. That's awesome. But you can't rely on ideas from the community. That's where I think a lot of people that look at like decentralized leadership and like kind of DAO structures, people proposing ideas. To me, that's actually broken because people that are trying to propose ideas, it's an information asymmetry. So you have way more information about the project than someone that's random in the Discord might. And so they might just like suggest, yo, provide LP to this fucking thing, or like, yo, let's make some crazy announcements or some, whatever they think makes sense, but they don't understand the grander vision because they just don't have that information. So to me, it's like what they do have information on very clearly is their direct personal, grievances or their direct personal problems that's their own personal experience. That is the most valuable thing to mine from a community at any given time.
This is something we talk about a lot in the channel, but the idea of a Web3 decentralized world taking over is just not the case. You need some level of centralization. You can't have people who don't understand business running a business. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. There's a reason that they give money to the people running the business to go make the thing happen. And he's absolutely right. You get the problem from the customer, and then your job is to figure it out and make it work.
At the end of the fucking day, I think all of us are here because we're JPEG enjoyers, we're NFT enjoyers, and we like NFTs and online communities. And what blockchain they're on ultimately has very little significance to me. I respect the fuck out of Bored Apes. I love Doodles. I love CloneX, Azuki, all these projects. I think that those projects are cool. Do I like Ethereum as a token and as like, a network and all the gas fees and all that stuff? No, not really. But at the end of the day, man, like if they needed to fucking move to another blockchain, the community, if it's strong enough, they would go to any blockchain. And I think that's the mark, of any good NFT project. They're there for the NFT, not for the fucking blockchain. So I think it's a little ludicrous that we have this like massive debate between Solana and Ethereum, because at the end of the fucking day, man, like I don't really give a shit what blockchain it's on. If Solana fucking dies, in a year from now, we'll move DeGods over to another fucking blockchain. It doesn't matter to me or I don't think anyone in our community beyond like a level of, beyond a level of belief. So yeah, to me, I just think it's a little silly. I do think it's fun as fuck to clown on ETH people. So I do that from time to time. And I love the jokes about Solana because they only have like 3. The network goes down. We have a phone and that like, we're fucking VC, centralized shitcoin or whatever.
Digital online communities, like you being part of some kind of community is what people do. So when they're on ETH or they decide to be on Sol or whatever, they attribute a lot of their online digital identity to whatever community they're part of because they feel like part of a family.
Advice for ETH people in the fucking that are listening to this right now. When you say the Solana network goes down like 100 times or like goes down every other day or whatever it is, you have to understand that everyone on Solana looks at you like a, basically like a brain dead like person that just reads shit on Twitter that's literally mind controlled by whatever funny tweets that you see, that doesn't do their own research, and like you just don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm just like, when you talk shit about Solana, ETH, or whatever, it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing out here? Like, bro, there's projects on Solana outperforming the absolute fuck out of projects on ETH, and there's projects on ETH that do better than Sol, but it's like, it's fucking close. Like, people make money on both chains. You don't know, bro. When we were coming up as Solana, back when we were like fucking 1/1000th of the volume, you know what I mean? Like, when we were 1/1000th of the volume of ETH, bro, we took all the shit. Like, bro, motherfuckers were shitting on Solana nonstop. I look at it as like hazing. Like, if Cardano NFTs are actually gonna make it, they better take all the fucking shit on how shit Cardano NFTs are. They better take that shit, internalize it, and if they end up making it, bro, mad respect. Just like Solana's starting to get that respect now. It's like, bro, you gotta make it through the hazing process. So yeah, like now it's like, you level up. You were bullied, now you're bullying the little fucking kid, and the bigger kid's fucking bullying you or whatever.
It literally has everything to do with ego. It's like Bored Ape Yacht Club people complaining about shit. You're like, shut up. And like with Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin maxis talk shit about ETH, and then ETH became a thing, and then ETH people start shitting on every other altcoin. And I've had personal experience with this. Like when I burst onto the YouTube scene, when I went from like a no one to like kind of a small someone, and I had a lot of momentum, I was getting a lot of subscribers, I was getting a lot of attention really good, I was getting a lot of business, and it was a great time, and then it started to slow down, as everything does. And then I would look at other people on the come up who were basically going through what I went through a few months ago, and I'd be like talking shit, or like coming up with excuses in my head, or justifying why they're doing it and I'm not. And so this is literally just pride and ego.
Like Ethereum spaces, like people are arguing about an art's provenance, and then Solana Twitter spaces, people are drunk eating provolone. So
yeah,
it's like,
yep.
It's a little bit different, but it's like.
No, I say that all the time when I talk to ETH people that are coming to Solana. I'm like, look, man, Nobody out here is going to talk about fucking IP. Nobody's going to talk about provenance. Nobody's going to talk about a lot of the higher level stuff, brand building, whatever it is. Like the higher level stuff that people talk about on ETH, at the end of the day, like a lot of the audience on Solana is ultimately just people like, it's a joke, but it's also real, that just like cannot afford fucking $100 gas fees, whatever, like $200 mint, stuff like this. Like today, there was a sick mint that was for $25 and it like 5x, right? It's like, it's fucking sick for like a normal person that's making a normal fucking amount of money. And so you get like normal people in the door. And when you get normal people in the door, they're way less excited about like, 5 year down the line, IP rights or CCO or any of that shit. What they're way more excited about is like, okay, what fucking utility makes sense? Like what shit like just makes fucking sense?
Yeah.
And those projects that can explain things cleanly, clearly, like do really well. Like I say all the time, like, dude, utility projects actually are in the top 10 rank on market cap on Solana. Like that's fucking nuts to me. Like that's not happening on ETH. It's a different type of ball game.
Dude, you know what's funny? I've been thinking about this too. I was like, man, we got a bunch of bitches. We got a lot of bitches in this world, and Solana just looks a little bit more fun. I'm thinking about dabbling in Solana. It's honestly making me curious to try out other blockchains as well, because like if you find the next sleeper project, you're gonna buy in for like $6. All right, well, I was I didn't have any expectations, but I'm fucking excited because that was a great podcast. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom for more content. If you already follow me on Twitter, if you're not my Discord, down below in the description, you're only hurting yourself. If you want to see more of me right now, click on these boxes on your side. Until next time, continue on your voyage. Continue to learn and be grateful you're alive watching this video.